Can you look
together?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I also give you 2 of them. You know, I did not order these because they are not really nice. It's fancy. It's. I have a colleague at the embassy whose name is Onishi. It's very. Pleasure. Yeah, not very Japanese name, right? Kate and Karen. Makes it easy for us. So that's the mother. Moe! Moe, reporter! You're
I realized that the Switzerland sent us various funds and rescue teams, and since then I've been very, I've realized the kindness of the Swiss people. I would say thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I have to tell you something in that respect. The earthquake in 2011 was the moment where Switzerland, which is always generous, has given the most money, more than in any other natural disaster before. And the reason was that all Swiss people watched TV.
May I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
So Switzerland has 4 official languages: German, French, Italian, and Romansh. And can you please tell us about the role of languages in Switzerland, and also what languages are taught in schools?
Well, as you said, we are a plurilingual country, and that's one of the main characteristics of Switzerland. As you say, for Japan it's typical that you are an island. For us it is typical that we are a landlocked country on the crossroads of different cultures, namely the German, the Italian and the French, and this makes it that we have different aspects cultural aspects from our neighboring countries. So we grow up with that, and that's part of our identity. To give you an example, at my family table we speak in different languages. My daughter grew up in Bern, so her most frequent language is Swiss German. She goes to the German school here in Tokyo. She speaks real.
What are some physical features Swiss people have for tourists?
Physical features, I wonder this question. Do you mean body-wise?
It's more like what you see. Then I think cultures can be divided into like what you see, which is like nature or structures, and also cultures can also be part of what you believe, culture values inside people. I'm interested in both, but this question was more about what you see, the physical structures or nature that tourists enjoy the most about visiting.
Well, physics. To start with human physics, our diversity is also expressed by the incredible diversity of people's physics. In Japan, when I walk across one of your stations at 8 o'clock in the morning, everybody looks a bit the same size, and everybody has black hair, and everybody is well dressed, and everybody is slim. In Switzerland, you have very tall people, small people, you have thick people, thin people, you have people with blonde hair, with red hair, with black hair, with brown hair. There is an incredible variety. That starts already from the physical impression. But then, of course, you are more thinking of nature. And there I think what is very special about
Here, a lot of younger Japanese people travel to Switzerland for tourism. What are some of the attractions that you would recommend Japanese people to visit?
if you really want to meet your fellow countrymen, you have to go to the Jungfraujoch, where the Japanese are still today the biggest group of foreign visitors. Unfortunately, the number of Japanese visiting Switzerland has shrinked dramatically. We had more than 1 million overnights from Japan 15 years ago. Now we are at slightly above 400,000. And we regret that very much because Japanese behave so well that they are the by far most popular tourists in Switzerland.
I heard that Switzerland has a quite high cost of living as well as salaries. But is Switzerland a good country? Is it very convenient to live in for the people living there as well as for like foreigners?
Sounds quite unbelievable for Japanese, but today 25% of the Swiss populations are non-Swiss. In the last 10 years, every year we had a net immigration of 80,000 people. If you take the size of Japan, that
What traditional games did you play when you were a child?
games.
Or sport?
Well, sport is maybe another question, but games, we play exactly the same games like everybody, all children play all over the world, like hiding and catching and so on. That's totally normal. What is typical in Switzerland when it comes to sport, everybody wants to go outside. You want to be under the sun or in the rain, but it has to be outside. And mothers encourage their children not to stay in the house, but to go out of the house at every moment of the day. A child that comes home from school and just sits in his room would immediately get critics from parents say, go out, you have to have sunlight, it's good for your bones, it's good for your mental health. And that brings it with it that activities are traditionally very much outdoor focused, even for people who are living in cities. The most traditional sports in Switzerland are winter sports. At least the original Swiss natives, most of them go skiing or snowboarding or doing other winter sports like luge, sledges and so on. And then in summer, of course, soccer is very popular. And what children do with their families is hiking. I don't know any family in Switzerland that would not take every year 2-3 weeks holidays in summer to go hiking. It's a typical family activity. All of the family goes, you stay, you rent.
What is the climate in Switzerland?
It's somehow comparable to Japan in the sense that we have 4 clearly defined seasons. We have relatively cold winters with snow. Unfortunately, due to climate change, we don't have that much snow, at least this winter, but traditionally we have snowy winters. We have then a beautiful spring season where the whole country looks like a huge flower carpet, which is particularly beautiful in the mountainous regions when the snow melts. It was first white and then brownish, turns into a very, very colorful landscape with thousands of different flowers. And it is
A large percentage of the energy in Switzerland is renewable, and the country is always ranked amongst the top countries for environmental preservation. Can you please tell us about the significance of environmental preservation in your country, and how the Swiss government and people work towards this?
We are a very, very small country. Huh? If you have a look at it, it's densely populated, and you have industrialized areas which are very close to natural reserves. So it is of utmost importance that we take well care of nature. Otherwise, it impacts.
I was surprised by the swimming all year round. All in Switzerland. I think, so in Switzerland, people swim even if the water is a bit cold.
Of course. Yeah, that's a hit from the what surprised me. In Switzerland, like most other countries of Switzerland, everybody is self-responsible. That means nature is accessible everywhere. It's one of the most fundamental rights that all of you can go to every mountain peak and swim in any river you want, because that's nature. And it's your responsibility to take care. And accidents happen, and people are educated on how to avoid accidents, but nobody would say that when I go swimming, somebody has to take care when I swim. It's your responsibility. And for us, it's so difficult. When I come to a province town in Japan, I say, oh, there is a nice mountain. Tomorrow morning I want to get up this mountain. No. Why not? Because you cannot go. Why cannot go? Because this is nature. It belongs to nobody. I want to go there. No, you're not allowed. It may be dangerous. I say, yes. Yes, it may be dangerous. That's it. It's my risk. Ah, no. Somebody has to be responsible. No such thing. In Switzerland, you go to a mountain, you may have an accident. There are thousands of volunteers who come to rescue you. They love that. That's their passion. And if not, it's your problem. So swimming, somebody would accept somebody telling you that, even when it's warm. I was in Ishishima in October. They had a beautiful swimming pool, and the sea was just in front of the hotel. The water was 28 degrees warm, and air temperature 7. Nobody was swimming. The hotel was fully booked out with lots of children. And why don't they swim? They're not swimming season. I said, in every other country of the world, children would punch their parents and say, you're crazy, the water is here, I will swim. In Switzerland, parents would be, I don't know, shot to the moon. How can you dare telling a child that it would not be allowed to swim? Because season is not, it's so, for me, from many things that where I've seen differences, usually there is at least one good reason behind the rule. There is not one single reason behind it. Why should you swim in a swimming pool? Because it's swimming season, or not? And I of course, I talk to everybody with that nobody could ever give me a reason. It's just because it is. And this is something in Japan that I think makes the country maybe stable, but also a bit inflexible. Rules are wonderful. It's wonderful if rules are respected, but if rules do not correspond to needs of practical life, they can be changed. Full stop. Like we introduced women's right to vote. We just change it, and we're happy that we changed it. Well. I hope you don't regret that you brought them to this house. Yes, definitely. We have a very good collection, and they are, of course, then highlighted here. You see it. I can show you one of them, which is one of the most precious ones, because the artist is one of the front runners for modern art, Marcel. And these two works here are sehr schön. Ja. See? Goodbye. Congratulations for your excellent performance. Thank you.